The Lost Cryptids Conservatory, where we will shatter your reality to bring you closer to the truth.
All right, welcome back for another live show. We get the camera adjusted, make sure everything's going good for you guys. Another Saturday night here in the lovely state of Michigan, and hopefully everyone's having a great night. You know, we're gonna hopefully have a fun discussions on, of course, Bigfoot and maybe some other rabbit holes and cryptids and paranormal activity and stuff. Because people experience this stuff, you know, it happens. So, and you meet certain people along the way that you definitely trust and value, and some even, you know, with your life. And if these people say that they experience these things, and how you know, if you trust them with your life, especially, how could you even not believe that story and stuff, or their encounters with the strange, unusual, and paranormal, or Bigfoot or Dogman or even the Stick Man and stuff, UFOs and all sorts of things. So, you know, the world is a big place and it's pretty magical at times. So yeah, so been a pretty fun day and stuff, an amazing week. So hopefully everyone's doing good and stuff. So we got Sandra Piper in the house, of course. She's always floating around in everyone's shows and stuff. So she's if you find her in the chat and stuff, usually it's a good show. Shout out to everyone else and stuff, because she watches a lot of good people and stuff. So hello, Charles. I'm your Huckleberry. Nice one. And hey, Tommy Cooper from Dovania TV. You guys can check out them. Their YouTube and stuff, their websites, and all sorts of cool stuff that they got going on, and their ventures and research, and it's really cool stuff. So a lot of researchers and stuff out there doing some good stuff this year, and some pretty good findings and all that. So check everyone out, and please support everyone, because you know, it's pretty tough to do this, and especially if you're kind of a small time channel and all that, you know, it's pretty hard to get shown, and the algorithms and all that. So it helps to like, share, and subscribe, and you know, talk about it and stuff, and share the videos, and you know, all that good stuff. So try to help one another and stuff, those who deserve it and stuff, and not trying to hoax and do all that sorts of nonsense. So yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the chat here pretty soon. And that's right. Got to start somewhere. And that's pretty much about it with research. I mean, you get into it, start diving into it, get your foot in the door, and start armchair researching and quarterbacking a plan, and then going out into the environment you want to go out to in a safe manner, of course, because you don't want to go out in the middle of nowhere if you're not prepared or have no experience with the wilderness, let alone experiencing an unknown cryptid, right? Because the fact of the matter is, when most people, not everyone who experience is an encounter with an unknown cryptid or an entity, paranormal, it's pretty much shock to their system and core, and so they get very traumatized in the moment, in the situation, and usually after stuff, especially depending on what goes on, and for months or years after. And we know of several cases of people experiencing Bigfoot encounters and having PTSD and stuff, and traumatic encounters. And it's interesting to talk about because it doesn't get talked about enough and stuff. I think it's interesting. And so, but to get through that stuff, a little bit is, you kind of got to get back on the horse. You got to keep practicing. And, once you fall off, you got to get back up, and it helps to maybe experience it and stuff, and talk about it, go back in the woods, and have possibly several encounters if you can, of slightly less severity, so you don't crap your pants or anything. But honestly, if you get out there enough and kind of get acclimated to what is going on and stuff, and that's when you're able to start getting evidence and trying to get footage and have a clear mindset and thought. So awesome to see everyone in chat. Got Hairman's Hooks is at Hoodwinks, Nikki, how's it going? And Cinchfoot Bigfoot. I fell off a horse a few times. Well, mainly because my mom, when I was younger as a kid, walking the horse and stuff, he walked us right into a tree branch, and me and my brother fell off right off back, backflipped right off the horse. Of course, we got back on. But yeah, so that is the link to come on. If you guys want to come on, we can hang out and chat, talk about whatever you guys want about pretty much anything. It's free for all, so anything goes. Just, of course, keep it clean and friendly, of course, and it's kind of about it. I mean, kind of laid back and stuff, so it shouldn't get too bad. Yeah, but so once you get out there and experiencing stuff, like heavy stuff, when you're actually experiencing an actual encounter or interaction, you're getting stuff thrown at you, and it's for sure confirmation. This is not like, well, maybe it's this and maybe it's that. No, this is like, okay, yeah, I'm 99% sure this is Sasquatch activity. They are around me, and then I'm in this situation. When you're in that situation, that's when panic sets in. That's when a lot of emotions come over, and that's when you have to, get your camera, get your gear and stuff, and turn it on, operate it, and of course, perform and in trying to get everything captured and stuff. So it's really hard, especially if you don't experience that and you've never experienced that. I think I'm lucky, and I emphasize lucky in the luck part of experiencing this a number of times. You watch some videos, you can watch the one with me and James and stuff. Multiple Bigfoot encounters escalation is the last video of the series, but James is freaking out. Because we have multiple Bigfoot around us making noise, throwing stuff at us. He's talking to them. He's trying to communicate, thinking, it's like a peep out there. you guys can watch Jason Kenzie's and mine's encounter, and you can watch that encounter. Of course, we showed some evidence of that, of eye shine, of course, and basically, you know, I'll give Jason his credit and stuff. He's definitely not afraid. But in those situations, you can tell that it's unnerving to any human. It's just naturally unnerving because they're just so powerful. They're so sneaky. They get so close to you. I mean, that eye shine right there is extremely close. 10 yards. I mean, that's not more than 10 yards. You know, we're talking 30 feet. We're talking, you know, it's no more than 60 feet. I mean, it's close. It's very close. And of course, we don't see it. But it's in these situations, and you guys can watch the full encounter. It's in these situations that the fog of war happens, and you're all over the place. Your brain's going 1,000 miles an hour, and your only thought is most of the time nothing, because you're just experiencing it, trying to just observe what's happening, and you're just lost in the moment. That's when you got to pick up the camera, pick up your equipment, and get to work. But the more you experience that, the more you could kind of get used to practicing and getting that mindset and stuff, and not just being in shock and awe. That's when you can do what you want and not just be frozen in place, but you can, you know, try to get the camera and get everything rolling and stuff, because that's what has to happen. If you're stuck and frozen and a deer in headlamps, and you're not going to do anything. And a great example of this is if you listen to Kara Arnold recently. He was in Arkansas or whatever, I believe. They were having activity. They're getting audio and stuff, and basically, you know, he kind of forgot to turn the camera on or audio, and then he finally did get turned on and captured at least one. And that's a great example, because, you know, he's out there trying to do it. That's what he wants to do. But even though prepared, you know, you just psych yourself up. You have friends and stuff. You try to, you know, build up and plan and strategize, you know, out there with Mark. But in the moment, it's all out. It goes out the door and stuff. So, you know, with practice and stuff, next time he definitely will he'll do better. And that's what it basically is practice and stuff. So. Yeah, it should be in your hand and ready to turn on at a moment's notice. And most cameras can turn on and start filming under 10 seconds, you know, under 7 seconds if you're really good. I think I can, you know, 5 seconds, I should be rolling with whatever camera I got. And then adjusting the night vision and stuff, turning, you know, adjusting that as I go. It's a manual focused digital zoom night vision monocular thing that can film. So that's kind of my main thing I'm gonna try to get at night, which I have been. But you know, it's about going out there as many times as you can, because as we know, as researchers, you know, going out there, things don't happen all the time. You know, even though you go to the same area a dozen times, you know, maybe something happens here and there. Maybe something major happens once, twice, you know, if you get lucky. But it's just, you keep hitting it hard, and then, you know, all of a sudden something major happens that blows your socks off, and then, you know, kind of recharges your battery and stuff most of the time. And I've been lucky enough to actually have had that happen, where, you know, maybe it's been, you know, a couple year stretch, you know, especially when I was younger and stuff, with no Bigfoot activity at all. But then all of a sudden, just major stuff happens, and it just makes you want to keep going. And in the last couple of years, you know, especially coming out with the Lost Cryptids Conservatory and doing these things and meeting different people and experiencing good and bad things with people and stuff, and having Sasquatch encounters, Like I'll play a little bit of audio right now. It's a great experience and stuff, and you learn a lot. And the one thing that working with people instead of working solo, which I've done for more years than I've done the Lost Cryptids and stuff. So the last couple of years, I started Lost Cryptids. So for like 16, 17 years, so doing so just out in the woods by myself. I carry a big Bowie knife or, sometimes a rifle or whatever, but by myself in the middle of the night, full moon, no moon, whatever. And hearing these things close, as a teenager and growing up, my very first encounter, long story short, I was going out and stuff, researching and stuff. At 13, I felt I was strong enough and kind of a man enough to start doing this stuff. And I had no one to do it with, so I started doing it myself. And I'd carry a Bowie knife and had a routine that I would do. I would go in my side yard and get my eyes adjusted to the darkness, and I'd cross the road and hit up this chunk of woods in this swamp, and this different. I'd call it different micro habitats. It's just basically different terrain and stuff. This one terrain was very bushy and open grass recovering meadow. Then there was a swampy creek and stuff, and then pine woods with the creek going through, and then there's other different little features and stuff that were totally different and unique and stuff. So basically one night parallel in the road, I heard something, thought it was a deer, made a low whoop because I thought it was going to scare. It's a deer, whatever. I jumped dozens of them and other animals over the course of years doing this, and in the weeks in that summer, especially the whole year doing that, got used to what animals sound like when they run away from humans, which they generally do because they're scared of us. Heard it, thought it was a deer. Was like, well, okay, whatever. Continue on about 20 more yards, and then I heard it again, and all of a sudden, I keep walking. I hear this burst of commotion. It came down the embankment, crossed the road bipedally in 3 steps, which is, I was frozen and I was shocked. It was just toof, toof, toof. And then a silence because I didn't hear nothing because it had jumped. And it jumped over a branch because the next day I checked, but it jumped over this branch, landed in a flooded thicket, splash, and then it dashed towards me and stopped. And it was about 30 feet away, 35 feet away, wasn't that far. And it was in this thicket. It was right there. It was bipedal, dashing. It was like a person. It was crazy. I had my walking stick up and stuff, and I stood there for 2 minutes thinking I was going to die for the first 30 seconds. And then 2 minutes is a very long time to be standing there waiting for something to jump out. And I eventually, started, I don't know, not being scared and stuff. And I had to get back home. So I turned and walked sideways, and eventually I made a big circle because I wanted to be able to hear it if it came close to me, but instead of taking the road which it had crossed, because I don't know, I just felt more comfortable walking around. So that's what I did. I did a big circle in the brush with this thing that was very close. I don't know exactly how old it was. Maybe it was a young one, maybe it was a juvenile, maybe it was an adult, I don't know, female, male, who knows. But I had that walking stick and I braced it up, and we just stood there for 2 minutes, and that was traumatic and stuff. After that, I didn't go in the woods for 2 months, and then I started going out there more because nothing happened. Nothing. Fortunately, it wasn't missing 411, but I could have been. I mean, who knows? But yeah, I should and stuff. I don't do the documentaries and stuff. I don't make them and stuff. But maybe in the future we got some plans of doing some things like that. But the point is, it was very traumatic and stuff. And I had nightmares and stuff of Sasquatch. I had nightmares before that of Sasquatch growing up as a kid, usually involving them chasing me and not being able to get inside the door. I would usually get to the door, open it up, and the Sasquatch would usually grab me or something. So it's very traumatic and stuff. But still would go out in the woods and had to get over it and get back on the horse. And I didn't have no one to really go out with. I had friends that were hunters and stuff, so we would hang out at night and stuff, but they weren't out Sasquatching. I was more or less, we were experiencing the woods. And I was, of course, hoping for Sasquatch activity. And there was a couple good times where there was, even interesting animal activity where we got chased by a skunk. This one time we went into the woods and, we thought we were going after coyotes and stuff, but whatever circled me wasn't no coyote and stuff. And it was a pretty unique area. Michigan is unique. Lower Michigan, it's a farm belt. It's very unique. And a lot of Sasquatches migrate through from the UP. They can get through to northern Michigan. In the winter, they can cross. It freezes over. They can easily cross. There's other animals documented across. They can even swim across. It's not that far. Bears easily, black bears have been known to swim along with other animals. From northern Michigan to lower Michigan, it's not that hard. And once you hit the farm belts, especially in once that corn's really high and there's crops, it's all you can eat buffet nonstop, and you got cover until everything's harvested. So they got a pretty good routine that they've done for the last 100 years, let's say, of how they can maneuver and operate and migrate through lower parts of Michigan. If you look at Google Maps, a lot of researchers and maybe some people would laugh at the idea that there's Bigfoot reported outside of Detroit or outside of some of these suburbs and urbanized areas where the population is several million people. But yet there are documented cases, 911 calls, and research done by researchers that show that there are Sasquatches very close to human activity, developments in suburbs and houses and backyards and farmers' fields. And, once you get outside the city, in the rural developed areas, they are roaming across the landscape and they get used to people's properties, people's farmers' routines, old people, your old granny who has that nice country house and no one goes on her land. And, maybe when's the last time someone's really hunted, unless the grandkids are coming up ready to hunt. It's perfect prime habitat. It's safe and stuff. And that's not really pressured upon them to really feel like they're going to be threatened by us being out in the woods. So, they know the best time of the year when to hit up a certain farmer property, most certainly, because on farms, especially, they have a general routine. Unless there's an active hazard or problem or things that come up, farms are very easily seasonal, very easily observed and tracked, and tactics can form around that. And it's all you eat can buffet for a couple months. Plus you got animals coming through, and it provides cover. And at nighttime, everyone's going to bed at 10 o'clock, watching TV, propping their feet up. They're not outside roaming their property. They're not doing a lot of the things we used to do 100, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, and beyond that. So modern humans, as though we de-evolved in certain ways, and Sasquatch has a little niche. When we flip the light switch off at nighttime, that's the time that they can roam and go to cover and can be free. And they can go and travel miles and miles and miles at nighttime, easily. And they learn passages. They go along the waterways. They travel across the farmers' fields. They peek into people's houses occasionally. And they do all sorts of things during this time period when they roam across the land, because everyone is sleeping. Everyone is not outside. Sometimes, when people experience them at nighttime, what are they doing? They're letting the dogs out. The dogs hear something. Or maybe, they're camping, they're outside, or they're doing something, coming home from late night Generally the ones, out in the, hiking, camping, motor time, night stuff, they see a lot of nighttime sightings and stuff. But not a lot of people are, millions and millions of Americans, if they would just spend, you know, if they were able to spend, a whole month nonstop outside at nighttime for a good portion of the night, they might hear something that could truly, make them wonder what's out there, maybe and shock them to their core, because they're going to hear sounds that they're going to ask themselves why are they hearing so close to their house, and what are they? Because the fact of the matter is, there's more than just Bigfoot out there. There's other cryptids. It's easy to talk about Bigfoot because that's what most people are seeing. Most people experience. Most people can go out in the woods and try to find evidence for it more easily than, say, a dog man in here in Michigan. I guess I have seen a dog man because I have seen a wolf cross the road on all fours, and then it got up and ran on two legs like a human across the field. My girlfriend witnessed that. The kids were in the car. So I guess that's a dog man, if that's what you want to call it. I have seen other cryptids, the stick man and stuff. You can watch that interview. If you watch the interview with my dad, special guest with my dad, we go through several different encounters over my life, which I don't typically talk about unless on here, which is more ghosts and UFOs and the stick man, which is very interesting because he had witnessed it too. And then my buddy Alex, who I just recently seen in the store, actually, after years and years, we had mentioned the stick man thing again. He had verified that, yes, he had seen it too. So there's multiple creatures out there, even in Florida, Arizona, Texas, and other states, whether you want to believe it or not. People are witnessing it. You may find yourself witnessing something you can't explain out there, and it would pay you well to have some sort of awareness about it, or some type of knowledge to they could keep, they could pull out and like help, and of understanding what exactly is going on to better prepare yourself. Certainly get yourself out of bad situations if you find yourself in. I certainly don't mess with ghosts, paranormal entities type stuff. I think that's some bad juju, right? And some spiritual warfare at that point, So at that point, if I'm going to be attacked or anything like that, that's not, how do you can tell it's a dead relative and stuff? How do you can tell what it is? Unless I'm absolutely I mean, it would take a lot. But in general, I would most likely consider it a supernatural entity that would probably not. It's not something I want to be messing with. It's not going to do anything beneficial to me, and most likely going to do something that's bad or cause me bad luck or whatever superstition. So I tend not to mess with that sort of stuff. But at the same time, I do know that they're out there. Things are out there. I've experienced ghost stuff. My girlfriend has experienced a lot of ghost stuff. She has a lot of evidence that we're going to show you here pretty soon. I'm trying to butter her up to come on here, but she has evidence. She has a photograph of when she was pregnant, and she has a belly, and she woke up with a massive handprint on her. And this was before I met her and stuff, but she woke up with like someone smacked her and left a big old welt handprint on her belly. And she has a picture, and it's clear. It's not, it's not like seeing Jesus in a potato chip type of thing. This is legit. So, people experience all sorts of stuff. You just never know what kind of areas and houses and spots and all sorts of things you can find yourself into. So, having the knowledge of some sort of things it's called preparedness. Honestly, you do it for survival situations. You do it for, if you're going to take a trip and stuff, you want to be prepared of things that could go wrong. At least have it in your mindset of potential things that, even though they may never happen, at least kind of have a reference of, well, I have a little information about this sort of thing, and there are cryptids out there. There are things out there, and Sasquatches can be dangerous. Why wouldn't they be? Every other animal on this planet can be dangerous to a human. A cat can mess you up. You go mess with your cat enough, he's going to start messing with you, and if they're not declawed, you're going to find yourself pretty bloody pretty fast. And that's just from a cat. Now, why wouldn't a Sasquatch be able to or do that? Why wouldn't they? They would. And they certainly have, because every other animal on this planet has attacked humans accidentally, or because of defensive being courted. And like all animals, if you court an animal, they're gonna defend themselves like any human would. It's a natural law of things. It's called survival. And potentially they might eat humans. Certainly in the past, Native Americans have said that. And the reason certainly they do in modern times is because we have reports of aggressive behaviors. We have reports of actual attacks, whether you want to believe them or not. You can find them in the 1950s is a really good decade to find old newspapers of wildman attacks from your old hometowns. A very good decade. 1950s is a very good decade to find attacks, surprisingly, which is very odd. But not really, because it's after World War II. America's building its highway infrastructure. America's industrializing on a grand scale with infrastructure, with everything. And so 1950s and stuff, there was a decade of, it seems to be a lot of attacks. And then it carries over to the 1960s, where there are a lot of national, state, definitely state, local newspapers of certainly in Michigan, the Monroe Monster, the Dewey Lake Monster. These are well-known legends and stuff, the 1960s. And again, these creatures did attack people on each side of the state during the same kind of time periods. And if you include the same time periods, it stretches almost the whole decade of the 60s of Sasquatch's encounters and attacks in these certain areas. Probably because the, American was, revolutionizing the housing and everything. The GIs came home and bought up houses and built their lives, and that's exactly how increased pressure and interaction happen. And then what basically seems to, I believe, this is my theories on this. Since then, we've expanded and stuff more, but the Sasquatches have certainly adapted and stuff, and now we don't see as many attacks. Localized newspapers, certainly I don't hear about localized people getting attacked by bears and stuff here in lower Michigan, if they were cover-ups for Sasquatch attacks and stuff. But there are missing 411 cases in certain areas, which could be Bigfoots and other cryptids and other just strange earth anomalies too. Which is another thing, is the Earth is a very powerful force in and of itself, and several layers and layers and layers of strata of energies and forces that all intertwine to work. So there's all sorts of things we just don't understand yet. And we're talking, quantum science. And when we get onto this whole new level, if you really want to get into scientific stuff, the magic of the Earth, all the theories and stuff that have been, we are working, are always changing, and new data and new evidence is coming to light. So especially with the quantum realm and all these different string theories and the different stuff that they think, I mean, it opens a lot of possibilities for the paranormal, or, even portals and all sorts of things that is naturally occurring in space. Unfortunately, portals are naturally occurring in space. Black hole is technically a portal and stuff. And even though I don't really believe in that sort of thing, there are very odd disappearances and stuff, very, very weird shifts in the magnetic poles, very, very weird stuff that is very, very, very much in its infancy when it comes to understanding in the scientific community. So and that includes Sasquatch and what they all do, and exactly the level of the population and the extent of their culture, and the proximity that they are to us. It's going to blow the doors off of every single American that just doesn't believe or laughs at it. I mean, it's truly frightening. It would scare them. Would be sheer panic if we would say yes. If they told us, yes, peasants, there's trolls, there's goblins, there's dragons out there. Yep, they live out in the wilderness and stuff. Yep, they're still alive. Yep. Wouldn't you think that would scare a lot of people? Instead, they could come out and say, well, there's these natural creatures of the earth that, are kept under the wraps. But yeah, we used to know them in the ancient times as these cryptids, and we gave them names, and ancient legends and different cultures talked about very similar creatures. You go down the list, it doesn't have to be Bigfoot, very similar creatures all across the board who have become lost. Now they're these lost cryptids that we are trying to rediscover and relearn about. If they just came out and said, well, they're terrestrial life forms that are, a little bit more than the average animal life forms. I mean, we need to learn to coexist. So that's just how it is. I mean, you guys, fall off the horse, get back up on it, accept it. Because we already live with them. We are already blindly, living among them, living next to them and stuff. And relatively, it doesn't seem like there's too much problems on both sides. That's not swept underneath the rug. But, if it was really, really bad, they wouldn't be able to sweep everything underneath the rug. So, which they would do for national security purposes. But it doesn't seem like that. Sasquatches are pretty prevalent around here in Michigan. My theory, and from my experience and research, there definitely is a huge population here. We actually did a math formula one time. I'm not going to really go into it, but it's a lot. Thousands and thousands, maybe a couple dozen thousands. So, if the government knows about them and stuff, they're letting them be next to us. They're letting them live in these wild areas. They're actually setting up areas for these things to actually be and thrive and breed and stuff. So, maybe they're not so much bloodthirsty monsters, but at the same time, not all, grizzly bears for the most part don't attack people, but grizzly bears sometimes do attack people. So, sometimes, most of the time, 99% of the time, a squirrel doesn't attack people. But you can watch some videos of squirrels going psychotic or whatever and messing people up, going for their faces and throats and taking chunks out of their skin. Any animal can do that because humans are kind of thin-skinned. We're weak. We're not comparably strong to other animals our size and weight and bone density. So, messing with Sasquatch, those commercials are, kind of legit, Sasquatch is going to smack you and, destroy your whole chest cavity, turn you into mush. So, you got to be careful out there. And when you're experiencing these things, that's the key thing is if you're out there and you want to experience these things and you want to keep experiencing these things, you want to always stay calm in these situations. And it's really hard to do. But the link is in the chat if anyone wants to come on. I was hoping someone could come on, but of course no one has to. I can always keep it going, but I put it in the chat because it's a free for all. Anyone can come on. We can talk about whatever discussions. We can even talk about conspiracy theories if we really wanted to. We can jump down so many rabbit holes and stuff because there's some interesting ones. There's some interesting things, whether or not they're true or not. There's just interesting tidbits about history, and that's basically what it is. And history is something that is something I have always enjoyed and loved and enjoyed reading, and and when you learn about certain things, you learn about certain things years later. You learn about new pieces of puzzles, and sometimes it's very interesting how history is played out and what we see. So, so we can talk about pretty much anything, honestly. But when you're in the situation of actually having a real, and you're this is not like, oh, I don't think it's a, it could be a woodpecker, or oh, maybe it's a raccoon. It's no confirmation of I'm 99% sure this is Sasquatch. Making calls, having rocks or something that's verifiable. Like when I have activity, I like to move 100, 200 yards, and if you keep getting activity, it's a really good indication. It's not a deer. Deer's not going to follow you in the woods. Uh, so when you're in that situation, you got to stay calm no matter what happens. If they throw stuff in at you, if they're yelling at you, screaming at you, bluff charging you, unless they're actually attacking you, like full on attack, which you're most likely not going to survive anyways, they're probably not going to mess with actually hurt you. If they don't outright do it, they're probably just trying to get you out of the area, or they're testing you to see what you can do, especially if say you keep going to the area, you've been in the area dozens and dozens of times, and sometimes you get interactions. Maybe you feel like you're getting interactions, but you're not sure. Then all of a sudden the big day happens. These things, if you've been in the area dozens of times, stuff, and you thought you might have had stuff, I'm sure now you have the confirmation, and it's the real deal. These things already know who you are. They most likely watched you probably a few times in the area. They most likely, if you're a researcher, there's clues and indications. If you are looking for their signs and evidence, they might get an idea that you're looking for them and sort of thing. They could possibly be, testing you to see what you're made of. What are you going to do? Are you scared of cat? Are you a wild card? Are you going to pull out a weapon and start blindly shooting at whatever you hear? Certainly you're not going to see anything. You're just going to hear something. You're going to shoot at whatever you hear because you can't handle yourself. They're going to test and see how you are. And if you react badly, or maybe not something they want to interact with, they're certainly not going to interact with you. And you'll get lucky and you could record something wild and stuff, but maybe they'll let you crap your pants and get out of the area, but they might not let you back in the area. Stuff, it's easier to catch flies with honey than vinegar. So in those situations, stay calm, cool, and collective. Stay friendly. Try to show some sign of friendliness. It's a very key thing. Study how they communicate with apes and stuff. You want to, submit. Do not want to show any type of aggression. You don't want to make them feel like they are you're a danger to them or their family. Especially you want them to come and feel comfortable and work their way towards you, which is you have to let them get to know you and stuff like that. It's a very much long process, especially if you go to different areas. But from my experience, it seems like if you're able to kind of hold your ground, hold yourself well, and don't go in there acting like you're prey. You want to go acting like I've had interaction with I've had a gun. If you guys go watch Jason Kenzie and Blake Doyster's Bigfoot Encounter, I have a rifle on my shoulder, and they caused the interaction. They announced their presence to us. I had the gun. I pointed at them at the ground, but towards the direction to scatter, put the gun away, and then they showed themselves. Very quickly. Not too many moments after that. We're talking moments. Did they slowly appear behind the tree and tree beak, and we had the interaction. And then he starts filming. That's where we had this little eye shine and all that. very close. We stayed calm, cool, and collective. And Jason's freaking out, and I tell him a number of times, a little branch gets brushed, and he, gets scared, and I put my hands up in between Jason and them, and say, everything's good, and I laugh and stuff too. Now I want it because I'm trying to show them, because they're not speaking English. I'm trying to show them that everything's cool, we're friendly, we're fine. I'm the one with the gun. I'm putting my hands up in between, I'm trying to facilitate that that we both, me and Jason, are not going to do anything dumb and stuff. And of course, he says it there. He's like, I'm not going to run. And of course, he's not armed or anything. I was the guide for him. He was the one filming. And it was awesome. They showed themselves. It was great. And then I wanted them to come back to camp, which I invited them to. And I asked them to show themselves, and Jason seen one across the trail, spread across the trail. And I'll play the clip, actually, if you guys want to watch it. It's going to be a minute or two. But after that, I thanked them, and we walked away and stuff. And I said, come back to camp. So in this situation, this is a very brief clip, very brief of the full clip. In this situation, it's very intense and stuff, and you got to stay calm, cool, and collective, and that's when you're going to get the most interaction and evidence, and you're going to be calm, your mind's going to be a lot better, and it's hard. This has taken me years and stuff. I mean, I've been fortunate enough or unfortunate enough. I had an encounter at 13, bluff charges, very, very close. I didn't pee myself. I didn't, have to change my pants or nothing, but, very traumatic and stuff. And keep going out there and having encounters and different things over the years, and, doing this with other people, going to Florida for 168, experiencing the stuff down there, coming back, chasing after things more, experiencing stuff. In Allegan, we have the expedition to Allegan County, part 1, part 2. We chase after things. I have interaction. Rocks get thrown. We have, we stay calm, cool, and collective, and nothing aggressive happens. But again, testing, definitely being hissed at. I'll play the audio. We hissed at right there behind a bush. They test you, like some animals do, like dogs do sometimes to strangers to see what's up. Sometimes smart dogs will do that. We've had a German Shepherd, great dog, and sometimes he was an ass, and he would sometimes test people and just mess with women sometimes, just for a laugh, it seemed like, because he was too smart for his own good. And so sometimes these things do a lot of weird things, but also there is more of an aggressive side, which researchers tend not to say is an aggressive, but technically would be an aggressive. Window peeping is technically something. If a human did that, what would you do if a human did it? If a Bigfoot's doing it and you're saying, oh, it's cool, it's a Bigfoot and blah, 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 and you accept it as normal. Well, what if a person did that? You're going to do the same reaction? No. So let's take a watch. We're going to watch this clip of me and Jason having this interaction. This is kind of like the middle of our interaction. So there's a beginning and stuff before this. And you can see Jason when he sees the thing cross the road. Watch his body language. Watch how he reacts. He goes into that situation, and it is that moment, that you're all over the place. I try to ask him questions. I have to keep re-asking the question of how big it is, because he's not really giving me a good answer for me to say, well, exactly what did you see, because he's not giving me exact answer of how big it is yet. I have to I could keep questioning him because he had just seen something amazing. And so in that moment, you have to be ready, have your equipment going, ready, pointed, focused, calm. Don't be breathing because you want to capture the audio and stuff, it's just, it's hard. It's practice. And I can tell you that since then, Jason has been out in the field, he's been in Texas and stuff, and his game has been a lot sharper than how he is in here. So because this definitely made him more of a believer and stuff. So
fine, he's right here.
Oh,
Just relax.
no, I'm just looking. Oh. I won't run, just to let you know. I just will not run. I will, jump
Right.
and maybe fall down, but I'm not going to sprint away,
That's pretty good.
right?
Okay.
Just to let you know, I'm not going to run and leave you, or I just won't run, because we're safer in together than to fucking run off. I might jump and fall back or whatever, but
I think we're pretty good. They show themselves.
but you saw the eyes, right?
Continue going. Come follow us back to camp. We're more Anishinaabe are.
How do you know how to talk like that?
I'm trying to study Native American. A lot of Native tribes are putting their languages online to save them from being extinct.
Oh,
You know what? I was checking this out. We were checking this out, looking at this,
yeah.
and it was right there watching us. They might have just done it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wish I had a more powerful light.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay. Oh, he was on the ground. He's on the ground.
yeah.
I saw him crawling. He was crawling right there.
You seen him crawling?
I saw him crawling right there. Right
Okay.
there across the ground.
Which way? Which
Right there.
Left side, right side?
Going this way. I saw him crawl because I saw his eyes on the ground.
How long? How big?
Oh, it was like I just saw the shadow of him, and he just went right across, crawling on the ground.
Huge?
Yeah, it was huge. Like I could just see the eyes were like that. Like
Well, if it was a bear or anything else, we'd hear. Walking, there's two of them.
yeah.
They're both sides of us now. That one caught that.
I saw the shadow, and as he went right across on the ground.
Sabe. Thank you.
I don't know if you guys caught the eye shine at the end too, but yeah, and I'll show you the clips of the eye shine right here. There's the third clip I don't have up, but that's just a partial clip of the encounter. The encounter's several minutes more longer than that, and you can see when Jason has a camera. If you notice, he notices something's over there. And at first, Jason's in an interview you can watch. We gave, if you go back a year ago, and to the interview we gave with him in August of 2021. We're very fresh. We talked about the encounter, me and him, and I believe he said he was standing up because you see him noticing it, and he's looking and stuff, and then he's in that situation. He has a camera. He doesn't turn it around to try to film and stuff. He's stuck in the moment, and then we talk and try to explain it and all that. And I'm trying to get the information. I'm trying to which way to go, because I start looking because it's like it's right there. Oh, sorry about that, my freaking audio. But what I was trying to say is Jason's in that situation, and he has a camera. He doesn't turn it around. He's stuck in the situation. He's filming himself, which is great because he gets his full body language of his encounter. He captured his whole body language of his encounter, literally, of seeing that, of the whole encounter, seeing that particular thing. And so it's just amazing and stuff. So in that situation that Jason's in, next time Jason is more likely to go like this and flip it around and try to capture and get on it and stuff. And this was Jason's real close encounter for sure. First close encounter that he's ever had, especially being a skeptic like he was at that time. He jumped over to that percentage, jumped up significantly after that. And of course he's had other adventures after this, and has had some interesting things happen. So great guy. Recommend him as a documentary to watch. You can watch it on Tubi on Amazon Prime. Searching for Sasquatch, number 1, 2, and 3, part and 4. Number 3 and 4 is during the expedition to the UP, and with independent researchers from Michigan, and of course the Lost Cryptids, and our encounter. You can watch the full, pretty much unedited raw clip of our encounter on my YouTube channel, of course. And yeah, it's great. It's great because you can see the full body language. It's there. You can tell he's not lying. It can be analyzed even. And like I said, in that situation, next time he's going to turn it around. He's going to be more ready. Maybe it might take him several situations like that. But each time you are more prepared for the next. Each time you are more practiced. You are going to be hopefully more mentally prepped if you're going to get back up on that horse after, being in that situation. I'm sure, it was awesome and stuff, but I'm sure, it was scary. It was certainly scary for me. Because these are very powerful creatures, and there was at least 3 of them right there. That third one was the one that crossed over, and he had flanked us because they were on the other side of us. And one was behind the tree, showed themselves. 2 were behind the tree, showed themselves, and that other one was slowly working his way and flanked us. And on the full video, you can hear me say, "There's one on the right of us." I can hear it. That is the one that slowly and very efficiently flanked us through woods, through sticks that it could step on and break, through a thicket that I would assume a Sasquatch would make more noise in, which was the very scary part. That these things didn't really make that much noise in the woods. We were on the trail, but they were off the trail. They didn't make that much noise. When that thing crossed like that, I which way did it go? And I'm looking and stuff. We don't hear it crashing through the woods. It's not crashing through the woods. It's very stealthily. It's right there still. But it's not making any noise. I mean, these things could just come right up to you, snatch you, which is why I'm very calm in that situation, because they could have done that. Just grab us. They didn't have to announce themselves by slamming on the ground with their hands, or they brushed some ground, is what it sounded like, some brushing movement sound. That's when we turned around and the encounter started, pointing the gun. If we were out there for a whole week, and if they were watching us the entire time, which they could have been at Camp 1 and Camp 2, not that far for a Sasquatch to walk, honestly. And we were out there the whole time, out in the areas, riding in the ATVs and doing a bunch of stuff. I had my gun strapped, my rifle. I lugged that thing on my shoulder everywhere I went. Because why not? You're in the wilderness, you're in the woods, it's protection. If anything happens, I want to be prepared, right, for bear, a wolf, or a cougar that are out there. We found tracks of. I didn't hopefully never need it. Most likely never will. But if I do need it, I want to have it. Also, I'm not a prey out there. I want to be. There's going to be mutual respect when it comes to me and Sasquatch. I have mutual respect of their awesome power and stuff, and they're going to have some mutual respect of, hey, man, I'm not going to go down without a fight. And if you're going to try to do something without me doing, without being like, say, justified to hurt me, I'm going to make sure damn well everything in my power that I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to, you ain't going to, you're not going to, it's not allowed, man. It's going to have to be some mutual respect. And in the encounter with me and Jason, there must have been some mutual respect. They had respect for that gun because when I turned around and drew it, they scattered pretty fast. They didn't go too far. But they did definitely crashed. You were crashing sounds. But after that, their movements was silent as a ninja. And, I would like, mutual respect there because if these things don't respect you and they think you're prey or whatever, they're going to do whatever they want to you. That's not a good situation, especially if they like you, They could like you and then, accidentally, well, they don't want you to leave. They like you so much, they want you to stay a little bit longer. Well, that mutual respect ensures that, well, I say it's time to leave. For myself, and I'm gonna leave, so yeah, good friend here got a video of one flanking me walking down an old trail. Got lucky and caught it on my buddy's GoPro he was wearing. And we have done an interview with 2 interviews actually on here with my good friend Will and his encounters and stuff that you guys can watch. I recommend it, and very great stuff. And me and him have been in the field together, hearing blood curdling screams in the dead of night in a very truly just rugged area of Michigan, a swamp, massive swamp, and areas of missing people and stuff even, and being a pretty adamant woodsman himself and hunter, those weren't normal sounds. Those are pretty intense sounds and Sasquatch sounds. There's a whole slew of sightings and stuff and history around there, and there's several. Bill has several encounters. I keep saying Bill because that's what we always call him, is Bill. So watch our interviews and stuff, and you can check him out and stuff because it's awesome stuff that he has and experienced and found. And yeah, we have even had the pleasure and luckiness to partake in ourselves. So yeah, so you'll find it. The very first one's a couple years old, but it's good stuff. And he can attest to it seems like Michigan's a pretty hot state for Bigfoot activity and stuff. So the stream is the link is in the chat already. If you scroll back, you should be able to find it. There's a link and stuff. You'll be able to click on it, come on in and stuff. So we'll keep going and stuff. We'll go for at least another hour, try to. And I was going to show these other clips real quick, so let me do that. But if you join in, I'll let you jump in, Bill. So these are the clips from Allegan and stuff where we're I'll show the clip of Florida real quick. And this is the zoomed in version. So this is the zoomed in version I did with no audio, so I can talk over. There's going to be red eye shine. It's going to be on the left side of the portion of the circle right there. So after this, I did not chase after this thing. Seeing that, I was kind of intimidated by the red eye shine and the activity. I had actually seen something crawl across the trail, and this had happened before me and Jason's encounter and stuff. This was on the 168, and since I did not chase after this, getting back to Michigan, I wanted to go and chase after things, and it, it's a, I don't know. I just felt like maybe I didn't catch the ball that was in the air at that moment. Even though I think it's pretty good evidence, and in the moment it was very intense, and there was things walking around us and whatever. We did that. I came to Michigan and I pushed the envelope and chased after me, and the team members chased after, and some other independent researchers ended up did chase after them. And thankfully, the Sasquatches around here were playful. It seemed like they were a good sport about what we were doing and thrashing the ground. I was even breaking tree limbs and trying to get a response. And we did. And the next night we got more intense responses, but nothing aggressive. But it was intense, very intense stuff. But chasing them, all they do is run away. And if they're a good sport, you'll hear them crashing through the woods and making maybe sounds and stuff. But it is intense and stuff. It's crazy, So I'll show the clip of here real quick. Let me check the comments. Okay, let me show this video clip, and then I'll put the link in the stream again. If you can't find it, Bill, or if anyone else wants to join. So I got two different clips. I think this first one's from the first night, and then second one's from the second night. And the second one is more intense, and they're way more close. We're in a way different environment. We're actually, the first night, we're on normal, kind of hilly, solid ground in a different, some pines and different stuff that we're chasing after them. But where is that? I just see it. Give me a second. It's back. Oh, I see it. I've seen it before the show, so I'm getting things ready. So here we got Bill. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, bud?
Hey, doing good. Trying to find this video clip real quick, but then we can get into talking to some about some of your stuff if you want to.
Yeah, I was interested in the conversation you're having about the aggression in some of the Sasquatch. That was actually one of our first encounters, was something that was aggressive. I didn't even know what it was at the time. It took a little while coming back a couple times to find out what it was. But that was the second time we'd seen one. We had gotten to the point where my wife and I, when we would camp, the female would come in quite often. Like I said, we'd been out there for 5-6 years though in the same area, and we'd always had a little bit of interaction going on around the camp. But the dog, a lot of the times, would let us know when she was actually close. We'd heard a baby, what sounded like babies crying, and we recorded it in the woods a couple times while we were camping, and you could hear like the baby behind us, but the female, it sounded like the female was in front of us. When they sounded off a couple times, I've got them recorded. There's a significant difference between what the male sounds like and what the female sounds like. The male has more of a human male, really deep voice, but the female, when she would scream, has just this wild, crazy, it's like a bobcat almost when they go to mating. it's a horrifying sound if you're not used to it. And whenever she would scream as a like location, I think he was calling for what we recorded. It was just terrifying. Shut the whole woods down. We
Yeah.
had I believe his name was Chad. He had a white dog. Walked around with you guys all the time.
Yeah, former member. Yep.
Yeah, he had been up there with me one time, him and another guy, and we were walking down a trail. And I remember the dog paying attention to everything that was going on in front of us, and we were, talking and looking around. The dog stopped and froze, staring straight ahead, almost like a pointer would. And I looked up real quick, and there was something black on all fours going across the ground in front of us. And if it wasn't for that dog, we would have never even seen it.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
in that area.
Yeah, and you had mentioned your dog and stuff that you had experienced and stuff, and I've personally witnessed Boris, the white dog, his name, smelling and actually indicating a Sasquatch were around us at different points. So dogs are actually can be the right kind of dogs, mentality and trained right,
Right.
can be utilized to kind of have awareness at least, but they're very scared of very scared of them though, and you can attest to that.
True. That's how we would usually find out one was in the area. If we started hearing something, I'd have to look around. If I looked in the truck and my dog's sitting on the front seat, she ain't coming out. That's usually there's something around. Otherwise, she would stay out in the woods till 2 or 3 in the morning. We'd throw a ball in that, sitting by the bonfire. But she would usually let me know right there at the end when there was one around. She sat in the seat one night just whining real bad, and I went around the truck to try to, coax her out a little bit. And when I got to the side of the truck, I heard a, and it was right behind me. And I kind of figured I knew what it was. I spun the truck around, and my wife got in the front seat, and it was standing in front of us, by next to a tree, looking down on us. It was the first time I'd ever seen the face. I've seen them many times in the woods, running across the trail or shooting behind a tree, but I've never been able to see their face. And that was the last time I'd seen one. But what a great encounter. She was standing right there in front of us, looking down at us. When I backed the truck up a little bit more, I went to go grab my phone to start recording. I looked up and she was gone. She wasn't standing next to the tree anymore. I looked over, my dog was looking, following her in the woods where, they can see a little better at night than we were able to. Or she was able to sense it. But yeah, the aggressive Sasquatch, that was my wife and I. If you have children, you know the importance of getting away together for a couple hours to,
Yeah.
relationship. We go out in the woods, and I would usually get the coyote packs going. You'd sound off and see what they were doing for the night. We were laying out there, and we just set a fire, and we're laying on the back of the truck listening to music. And I started yelling to get the coyotes going, and they started sounding off. It sounded like they were in a hunting pack. And then we heard this massive roar, scream, and the coyotes started dying off one by one. Then, at the end, when the last one had died, that thing roared again, like, this is my neighborhood and I run the place. And that kind of scared us out of there. So we left. I came back a few days later, like everybody else I know, when seeing one, we're going to take a gun, we're going to find out what this thing is, and, all the wrong things at first. I went back there with 2 of my buddies and my wife. We were fully loaded. I wanted to find out what had killed all those coyotes. Figured it was so close, it wouldn't be too hard to find out. I got about halfway into the swamp, and back behind me at camp, they started shooting the gun off. So we figured, well, we better go find out what's going on, because they weren't answering the walkie-talkies. by the time we got back there, my wife was pretty paranoid. The buddy I brought with me, even though he had all kinds of guns and firepower, you could see the fear on his face. So what's going on? What's going on? They said it sounded like a car crashed right behind him. We looked behind where our camp was, and it had brought down a tree right straight across the only way in. We were on a dead end. And it started, I walked over to see what it was. And we had to start taking this tree down to get out of there, but it was circling around us the whole time we were in there with nothing but aggressive growls, the huffing, taking the trees and shaking the trees, letting us know that it was there. Finally, we'd end up using my truck and got most of the tree down and gone. And we were able to get out of there. But the whole time we were there, it made itself very well known. It was very aggressive, and its mannerism, I guess you'd say, with its attitude and the grunting and the screaming at us. It made for a pretty terrifying experience, and that's kind of what let me know that we weren't bosses out there no more. You can walk around with a gun all you want and kill Bambi. They don't fight back. These things get a hold of you. They'll tear you up. They're 45-70. That's the only thing I feel comfortable with going up. And then even at that, it's like a bear. If you wound it, it's coming after you. You're gonna pay for it.
Shot placement, man. I mean, bears are a good example. You know, but don't shoot it right, even with a big caliber weapon, they can still come after you. But small caliber weapon could affect too. But
true. You remember?
They know what their guns are.
True.
If they really want you, it really doesn't matter.
I think some of them are like a convenient hunter. Bears in Alaska have gotten used to hearing a gunshot, and then they'll come for that gunshot because they know that there's food there. I think Sasquatches are kind of the same way. Curiosity, but with more knowledge. They'll hear the same thing, but they already know what's going on. And when I walk with a gun in the woods, I don't have any interactions with them, or they'll stay deep in the woods. And a lot of times when they're following with you, you can hear them on your, flanking you to your right or your left. They're usually pretty quiet, but when they're trying to keep up with you, they get a little clumsier. They make a little more noise in the woods. It's not at their level that they're following you, so they're not as quiet as normally they would be. But I've had them sit, couple yards inside the wood line, and I know everybody would say, well, you should be able to see that, but there's areas up north where you just can't see, in the spring, especially 10 feet into the woods, especially some of the areas we go in, you're lucky to see 5 foot in front of you. That's how you walk into the bear, walking out of the water.
And I've been there with you, and it is no joke. And I've seen bear paths and stuff, and it's some intense stuff. And they get very close because they know how close they can get, and plus they observe us being blindly trying to look for them, so they know they can't. We don't see them.
Oh, they
There's
blend
so
in.
much great advantage that the gun is. It plays into what they do, but it really doesn't affect the overall outcome if they really wanted to make you leave or hurt you or interact with you and in different cases.
You can throw lead, they can throw trees.
Yeah. And they can hit you too.
And things are amazing what they've done. I've found I think you've seen it. Found a structure a long time ago where all around the structure were holes and their roots popped out of them. It had walked in an area tearing out trees and throwing them on a pile, basically. After it tore these and ripped these trees out of the ground, I mean, some of these still had the root balls on them. And when you walk around and look at it, it would take the outside trees that are standing up, little 2-inch trees, and it was kind of woven all through the structure. But the power that it would take to rip out a tree out of the ground is just amazing. Try ripping a little itty bitty, 1-inch sapling of oak out of the ground. It's a chore, and they're ripping trees out of the ground. I'd watched, I think it was Tinker Thunker or something like that. I'm not real big on all the different things.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think it's
they broke down a tree that was running across. It just looked like a tree running across the top of a mountain, and then here goes another one. Well, they blew it up, and you can literally see the Sasquatch, or what appears to be a Sasquatch, ripping trees out of the ground and running with it across the hill. I just seen that for the first time the other day, but I guess it's been out, and it made me think of up north, them ripping the trees out and them knocking the tree over on the only way we had out that night. And if they want you, if they want you, they got you. And there's very few things you can do. I think to get away from them. However, on the flip opposite side of that, you've got the ones that are just simply curious. I don't think they mean you any harm. The male and female, and what we pretty sure now is the babe. They have a baby now. I think I found one of the tracks to the baby, but they're a whole different. They're calmer. They're docile. Very curious. I've seen them a few different times, the male, and the female I've only seen for sure 100% she was a female one time. But like I said, they're having babies out there now, and for what we're pretty sure is a baby. We got a little audio of it, but it just sounds like a human baby crying in the woods, and then with talk, it didn't make any sense. We're not even sure it was talk, really. It was more like a grunting. It was strange. I know everybody says that they like that, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel on that one. I've heard the talk, I've heard the chatter, and that not just in my area, but up in the UP when I went up there with another guy. We were right off of a different swamp, actually. And that's what I didn't think too. Is these swamps are huge areas for them, not just to live in, but I believe it's hunting them also. They offer so much camouflage. You can stay hidden in them for such a long period of time. That's why people go in and they get lost. Oh, up there they do. They don't call them.
Yeah. Well, even if people go out there, most people don't even go out in the swamps, and it's a perfect habitat for them to be in.
True. It's hard terrain. It's not something you can traverse. You don't just walk out there on a little path, follow the signs. You got to make your own. It's a little different when you have to use a compass to actually get somewhere. They
thrive out there.
I think I figured.
Oh, go ahead. I
think I figured out the travel route up there for them. I'm pretty sure I know now where they're at. It's just getting back to where they're at. It's going to be almost impossible without a canoe or some type of boat to get back to them. Going to need a compass for sure. Probably going to take a couple days to get from one side to the other, but I think we should do that. They're taking, without giving away the location, they're taking that swamp down. It channels off into a river that's pretty popular. And from that river goes right to where Wolf Creek ends up. It ends up there. But there's a whole area that I followed, goes from top to bottom there, and they're using them waterways for a couple different reasons. I had a couple years ago, I told a couple people this, but DNR officer up where I used to live at was my neighbor. And they would get interesting calls once in a while, but they don't typically respond to them. That's a fact. He come over and said, got a report of somebody's pet monkey off of the river that's up there. It's right down from the area that I hunt and everything. So I went and checked it out with them. Got pictures of all this stuff too. Something where she had reported the monkey was something had taken a stick on the root of the stick. Well, it was a tree that was pulled out. On the bottom of it had roots, and it was using it like a rake pulling in the clams up there. Now there's millions of clams in there, and they're huge ones too, and 6-7 inches. Something she said was a monkey. It was standing on there using that stick, bringing in those mussels and eating them. And that just showed me right there that all up and down that area. You can eat so many different things. You got the berries,
Yeah.
there's just so much, not including the amount of animal activity that's up there. That's why it's such a great hunting area. But they use these waterways back and forth for traveling, because some of the spots are just, we can't get to them without a boat.
No, I mean, you're talking about some of the gnarliest places in Michigan, actually, and places in America. Honestly, it's very unique and so to our state. So, and they're thriving. And I think the government knows about it. They definitely know about it, and seems like they're okay with it.
It's awful funny when you get an area where you start having activity at and people start noticing them. Pay attention to what's going on in that surrounding area. A lot of times the government will take over a nice little section of forest for nothing. There's a spot where I used to go up north. I can tell you where that's at. Used to go to the spot up north in Houghton Lake, where we've had a couple different interactions. And now that property is sealed off. There's a fence all the way around it. Property of the U.S. government cannot enter. No trespassing. Blah blah blah. Big huge fence surrounding this little area. That when I was younger, we used to take our motorcycles and go all through the trails. I've hunted that area before. But I know that there's been activity up in that area too, that one specific area. Now you can't get to it. It's closed off. Government owns it. Start looking around your government bases. You'll start finding other activity. I kind of already noticed that one.
Yeah, and nothing is a coincidence, and I think it's another piece to the puzzle. So. But I know we've been talking about showing these clips. So I'm gonna show some of these clips from Allegan and stuff. So we got this is when we start chasing them, and you can hear crashing as they move away from us. And I'll show these two clips and then the third clip.
Something's following us. Just don't move. I can't see nothing on that. It's over there. I know, I hear it. I'm just trying to film you guys. I'm not trying to blind you guys. Yeah. That freaked me out too. I thought it kept popping on this side. You don't want to run. And Jared backed up and get me a hot dog. She was gone. Shh. Yep. Something up there. Alright, Tyler. Is Kevin here with us? Yeah. Kevin over here. Tyler, alright, let's go. You got the flare. You got night vision. You're gonna get ahead of the trail and then push in.
And we started chasing after these things, and they just kept up front of us and stuff. They didn't do anything crazy and stuff. They were a good sport. And then the second night we had this audio happen, which is more of a testing of us.
What was that? I don't know. Did you hear that hiss? Oh my God, did you hear that? Yeah. Something just got thrown into the water. Yeah. Oh my God, did you hear that? Yeah. Something just got thrown into the water. Yeah. Yeah.
Something just got thrown into the water.
Yeah. Sabe.
Oh. You hear that?
Sabe.
You hear that?
Sabe.
You hear that?
Sabe.
You hear that?
Sabe.
You hear that? So, like that hits at the beginning and stuff, you know, it was right behind a bush that we're right there, and right down this creek bottom and stuff, and then big splashes, this massive rock, probably about this big at least, thrown and just landed, bam, this creek, and it's big old splash, and you hear Josh pretty startled and stuff, of course, reasonably, and
Oh
you
yeah.
know, got to stay calm and stuff. But they're seems like they're testing us, and you know, I think pretty good about it. You know, considering I had a gun on me that time too, a rifle, and had
Yeah,
this
how
activity.
comfortable does that feel though?
It was intense. It was
Sometimes
intense. I mean, it was like that rock could have went through me and him together, and it would have been done. So
I've gotten a lot of rock clacking over the years. I didn't know what it was at first, but up north you'll get a lot of woodpeckers. The pileated woodpeckers and things are huge, and they'll go through the woods knocking to where it'll sound like, you know, if you're actually listening for a Bigfoot to go knocking on wood, and you hear this, a lot of people think that that's what that is, but it's just a bird. Up north, there's so many different birds. Imagine out your way, you get a lot of owls. Barred owls are quite often mistaken, not a barn, a barred owl is mistaken for
oh yeah,
a monkey sound. I've been sitting in the woods with a buddy of mine, and we were out squatching one night, and had playing video, or we were listening, recording everything, and sounding like an owl. So give a little owl sound and wait to hear one response to. Out there in this one area, every year you can get an owl respond to you. So we just kind of nicknamed it Hootie. But anyway, you get it going, and then it did it one time, and then it sounded like several other owls would join in, but one of them wasn't an owl. I think the Sasquatch are mimicking some of the animals that are around them. They have nothing better to do out there. They sit out in the middle of the woods.
exactly.
I think that they get pretty good at mimicking some of these things, but the owl that started this was a little different. It didn't quite sound like an owl. The recording that I've got has several owls. They all started going off doing what their mating call would be, which is kind of a monkey sound. Now, if you ever get a chance to listen to it, yeah, check out what they sound like, because a lot of people misidentify them in the woods. I've gotten stuff like that, but I've never gotten the rock throws. I've had wood thrown at us in the woods before. Can't prove it was thrown, but you know, when a piece of wood comes flying at you, yeah, I'd say it was thrown. At that time, like I said, there's times I've been in the woods too where I had no idea what was going around me, couldn't explain it. But then again, I wasn't thinking at the time, you know, Bigfoot, or they didn't exist to me at that time. And if you're not expecting something, you're not looking for it.
Yeah, it doesn't exist until
Yeah.
until it happens, and you see it and you start experiencing it, and you know, going out there and stuff. You know, they get used to and seeing you and stuff, and get
I do.
comfortable enough to be right next to you and grunt at you for them to notice, for you to
Right.
notice and stuff.
Hey, I'm
And
here.
you know, it just shows intelligence. It does show curiosity, a willingness to interact, even. Um, and I've experienced this different places. Seems like Michigan maybe is nothing special, but Sasquatch here are pretty curious and more open with them. They're we have aggressive reports, but it's nothing like down south where they are typically aggressive.
I think
Or
that one may have been driven out of its area. The one that we had encountered, it's obvious that there's a family of them up there. We've come to realize that. But I think the younger ones are a little. Well, you got to think of it this way: when you were in your teenage years, you weren't an angel, and I believe some of the males, when the testosterone levels get going, they may be pushed out of their home or the club that they're in, their little society. Mom and dad's got to push you out of the nest sooner or later. And I believe that's what was going on down there with that one. He was establishing his territory at the time that we'd come in there. It didn't want us there. And been back there a few different times with my kids and some other people, and it never really got the same level of intensity that we did that night. But we've gone in there with a different mindset now than what we used to. Well, now we look for them. We're expecting something now when we go in there. Usually when you're looking for something, it's easier to find. That's what we do when we go back in that area now. But you still got to keep in mind that it does have an aggressive side to it. And all of these things, a lot of people say, oh, it sounded so mean and mad. But when you truly hear their aggressive side, when they don't want you somewhere, a man, when he talks, is going to have a lower voice tone. A bigger guy has a lower voice. Smaller guys, we really don't. A Bigfoot is a huge 9 foot creature with a massive chest cavity. When they talk or growl or even, just exhale, that low tone we're going to associate with aggression or something mad or mean because of monster stories you've heard all your life. But it's just their natural tone in their voice. This other one, the Squatch down there, when it was aggressively letting us know that it didn't want us there, it was reaching multiple different peaks, but you'd hear that low tone, aggressive growl. And then it would go all the way back up to a, hey, I don't, just a real high pitched scream all at the same time. It was pretty scary. But like you guys are walking, you said you're walking down in the middle of a couple hogbacks or something, or in the valley, and have a rock thrown in on you. That would be scary. That'd be rough.
Yeah, with James, me and James. Yeah.
Oh, I've been in the woods a few times with James. We've left a couple times. There's not but a few times I've ever had to back out of the woods or scared going out of the woods at nighttime. And you're a hunter, so you're going in the dark. Most of the time, you're coming out in the dark.
Yeah, that's right.
You're gonna hit those prime times. That's when a lot of the encounters are going to be at too, because they're out doing their thing now by that time.
Exactly.
I gotta get something to drink. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah. You never know. That's why you always have to be prepared, because aggressiveness can happen. You can make a mistake. Sometimes, you can just look at them wrong, maybe then all of a sudden you're in totally such a different situation. You got to keep calm and stuff, because if you do the wrong situation, or maybe you grab a gun, you start waving around, maybe maybe they start doing the same thing and grabbing for a weapon, and all of a sudden it's going to be on. And that's no good for anyone. And plus, you don't catch flies with vinegar; you catch them with honey, a lot more at least. And that's what we're trying to do. I've been in the woods with you and stuff, and we just try to experience whatever's happening and try to pull our phones out and get it, hopefully. But it's a very intense area up there, and we've had things
when
happen.
You're looking for them.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's a different area up there. There's a lot of different areas all through Michigan. You got
all through Michigan, all through northern and UP, and even lower.
Oh yeah. Yeah, whenever I go out in the woods, I just go out there to enjoy myself. I'll listen to music, or I'll, have a bonfire, or cook some food and that, and doing nothing out of the ordinary. Not firing off fireworks or shooting off guns, or
Right.
even they see the light, and they're gonna smell that you're there. long before they see you. But they'll come in out of curiosity, and over a long period of time, we've gotten it to the point where in my one camping area, they will come in. They've come in at nighttime on a couple of us. Brian, he was up there. We had a really interesting night one time. A couple different nights I've been up there. They'll come right into camp and walk all around your camp. One night we were all three of us up there, me and him and a couple and another buddy. At nighttime we had the two different tents, and I felt so bad for one of my buddies up there. I done took away his toys for the night, and whatever come in right between both of our tents, and he was in this little bitty tent. And I was thinking, oh my God, my dog got off the bed, went underneath of my tent, or my where I was sleeping on, and hid. And then when you could hear, I looked over at Mother Bunny, and you could hear the growl, or not a growl. I'm not gonna say that. It's just like I was saying, that deep voice. It was probably just breathing, and it has such a low guttural tone that it sounds like that's a deep growl. But they will come right plumb into your camp and test the limits of what they can do. And the first sign of life, they'll just hightail it right back out. But getting comfortable in the woods first, you have to do it yourself. You got to get comfortable in the area that you're in, so that you're not jumping at every little broken tree limb. You got to get used to the animals that are in your area. You got to know what every one of these birds are sounding like at night. It's important to know what a lot of people say, that bobcat, cougar, wolf, all that don't exist in the lower, but they do. They're in lower Michigan. Black bear is still even pretty prevalent in areas that you wouldn't even leave down here. I just found that out the other day.
Yeah, they're coming down lower and lower Michigan too.
They're coming lower and lower. They are. You're as the numbers grow back up in any group of animals, deer population will grow back up, the more hunters stop hunting them. Same with the bear. Now they're only giving them out, in the point system. So it's not like you can go every year and go shoot a bear, which is a good thing. And now the numbers are coming back pretty good. Up where I'm at, the bear population has just exploded, and not with little baby bears either. 300-pound bear, they say that's a adult black bear. Big old male can be 350 pounds. I've seen them 650, 500s, no problem. In certain areas, it's genetics, amount of food, capability to eat. Water resource is one of the biggest things, I think, because it offers so many other things. The clams I had never even thought about until a couple years ago with that incident. But the fish, huge thing, I think, that they can fish pretty well. There's a program I've been watching on TV, and it's like their second year. They go looking for Bigfoot, and they've caught some pretty good stuff this year. But everything that they've caught on there, I've heard in my area, and listening to the similarities of the sounds and a few of the other things. It's pretty common. If you can get used to them in one area, I think you can pretty well have more understanding or likelihood of hearing them in another area. It sounded to me like they're just pretty well do the same kind of things, vocalizations and things over on the west coast as they would over on this side of the country.
Yeah, down in Florida, some of the stuff worked. It seemed like some of the stuff worked. It was just over in Florida, different terrain and environment, but and temperature. But yeah, we had interaction and stuff, and it's some of the same sounds and tactics and stuff that they do, and crawling on all fours, and it's very interesting and stuff. So yeah, I think they uniformly they have some sort of way they conduct themselves with humans. It's not like animals where they individually would have attack us. They would have all sorts of things, but generally they all sort of stay away from us. They all do the same sort of things all across the board, everywhere.
Sure.
These rules and conduct, how to operate around humans and interact, and how to get us out of an area, shoo us out, and all sorts of things. And it's just like, I don't know, on a large scale, it's like there would be more attacks, there would be more aggressiveness. You would think there'd be just a lot more, not so much patience with us as humans. They have a lot of patience when we're in the woods messing with them and pushing on them and putting pressure on their kids.
Right.
Amazing patience, it seems like.
It makes you wonder why you don't hear as many. You'll hear about encounters, but you don't hear about the aggressive ones. I wonder if there are, and I know DNR
Not
doesn't take,
anymore, anyways.
yeah, DNR don't take reports, but I wonder if, there's got to be people reporting more and more and more to the state police, the DNR, conservation officers in different areas that they're not reporting. Like I said, I found 2 different areas, and both of them are near military places now. Government took over the whole area in one spot, and now thinking about it, you kind of put it together. They're protecting something. Anything that survives has to have a place for it to survive in, and I think that they're just making sure that that's a safe zone for them to go into. Just like certain swamps are safe areas for them to go into.
It just raises a lot of questions because it means that there's conservation. It's conservation for those things. Then our state for the last 100 years has done a massive overhaul. In fact, we have more trees in Michigan now than we did than 100 years ago. We're like 50% covered in forested, more than 50%. And they are doing conservation efforts with Sasquatch in these areas and stuff, and they are protecting them. So would that mean that they're not a deadly savage monster, right? Because I don't think they would do that for savage monster. So, exactly how intelligent and exactly what's going on to make them want to could have conservation efforts. Maybe it was Teddy Roosevelt who got it started with the national parks, but like, seems like they are actively setting aside land, protecting them, even studying them. I mean, we hear about that there are biologists and DNR and stuff like that who, I mean, if they're doing this, then they're studying them too. You don't set aside land without studying them. Oh, we lost Bill. He'll probably join back up in the link stuff. His connection or whatever gets fixed. But when I think of that, I think, obviously it's not a savage beast, because if it was a savage beast, you couldn't have them, all these areas set up next to people's backyards. I mean, behind people's, millions of people live around these areas and stuff. And if they were savage, wild, crazy, unintelligent creatures, there's no way that you would be able to maintain this conservation effort, let alone let them freely roam the countryside outside of these things. Because not all these things are fenced in. So, I mean, it just makes me go down the rabbit hole. Like, if they are intelligent, Native American type of, what if they are an elder brother tribe? Do they have a treaty with our government? Do they have a treaty to have access to lands and to roam across and to settle any disputes within their thing? And, don't attack our people, we'll try to limit things, but of course there's always rogues. I mean, I don't know, those are deep rabbit hole thoughts, but like, if they're making conservation efforts and they have to, I don't know. We do it for dangerous species like grizzlies and stuff too, but they're manageable and stuff. So they either are manageable in a way, which I don't know how you would be able to manage a Sasquatch and stuff, control them, or they're intelligent enough that there's things in place that work that are agreeable on both sides, and it functions and flows naturally, I guess, because these things were a threat and a danger to us, they'd be wiping them out. Sasquatch would just go belligerent and attack civilians. They wouldn't. It's not like war. Sasquatch only attack U.S. troops when they get attacked. They'd be attacking everything. So, at the grand scale of things, there is something big going on that they don't want you to know, and I think it could possibly be that, yeah, they are protecting the species of ancient human or ancient elder brother species of Sasquatch that are, who knows, we find modern Denisovan fossils and stuff that are not Neanderthals. They're not modern humans. They're new species. We find other new species, and there's giant bones in China. Not the not giganto, but they actually found different bones that is of another gigantic humanoid. I can't remember the name because it's too scientific for me to remember, but they are a very good fit to be of Sasquatch type of evolutionary puzzle piece. So um, it's just amazing and stuff. I think they've obviously have been around for a lot. They're maybe a relic humanoid. For some reason, the government protects them. And does all this and hides it from the public because the public, I guess, people as a whole are kind of stupid and gullible and prone to panic and fear, and it's just not probably not a good situation. I guess everyone would probably arm up and try to go out and hunt these things. So there's some type of thing going in place. So look for where, like Bill. Hopefully he'll come back on. Maybe his phone died and stuff. He has to charge it real quick because I've done that. And look for these areas where your conservation efforts are being held and stuff. And it's all good stuff too. It's and if Sasquatch is going along with that program on the most part, then it's a good thing. But there are data that shows that there are Sasquatches are aggressive towards humans, and maybe there's not sorts of a friendly understanding, because there are certainly a number of reports here in Michigan and beyond of Sasquatches peeing on people, peeing on tents, slapping houses, property damage, killing dogs, ripping dogs, eating, throwing, discarding body pieces on roofs on houses, vandalization, all sorts of things, actual attacks, people getting, windows busted, people window peeping and stuff, which is, again, if Sasquatch is, are window peeping in your house and your kids and stuff, and if a person did that, another man did that, how would you feel, right? It's pretty aggressive and creepy and not acceptable behavior towards our kids, right? Would a Sasquatch allow you to go window peep on their kids? Probably not. So, that's an aggressive kind of thing. There's other sort of things like that, aggressive bluff charges and actual deaths. There are like I said earlier in the show, the 1950s is a great decade to look for Sasquatch attacks here in America, because that decade, after World War II, we started building the infrastructure of America, all the highways and going through all these remote areas and changing things, and farmers and all sorts of growth, and hunters, massive hunting during the 50s and stuff. After everyone came back from World War II, all the GI stuff, built all these houses, all these cars, muscle cars there in the 60s. It seems like there was a lot of attacks. You can find wild man attacks, these references in the 1950s and 60s here in Michigan and beyond. But there's reports of farmers with their heads being twisted off or missing, their guns being broken or being bent. Sasquatch is attempting kidnapping here in Michigan of 2 people at the same time, trying to carry them underneath their arms. There are certainly aggressive things going on and conflicts that did happen, and that you should be able to find in your state. Actually, the 1950s, early 1900s is a very key turning point because America was getting revolutionized, the car was getting available, all that. So you see these documentations of not so friendly things, but conservation efforts and stuff like that still takes place in all these states and seems to be geared towards Sasquatch. That's what I personally believe. That's what Bill believes. That's what other people have seemed to think, and people have come forward who worked in these agencies and have said that they certainly know about them and document them, and you can hear about different stories. So it's real, and it's not just Sasquatch too. There's other cryptids out there now. Whether or not they're having land set aside for them is another story. But certainly Sasquatch is the more prevalent of these cryptids, and it's therefore the most likely to encounter. And my girlfriend, who's right here, we seen a wolf cross the road on all fours. It got in the field and it stood up and it ran. It stood up like a person. It ran like a person. Its arms ran like a person. It stood up and flowed and ran on two legs. This wolf stood up on two legs and ran like a person. This is in Lower Michigan, and I don't know if this is right. This way is probably right? So I divide Michigan into three parts. So from here down is Lower Michigan. From here up is Northern Michigan. And then you have the Upper Peninsula. So three different parts because the three uniquely different landscapes here and habitats. Each section is similar to the whole section. Each section is different than the others. Lower Michigan here is all farmland, mostly heavily farmland, swamps and stuff. There's a lot of sightings and stuff. I seen Dogman down in here, which people would laugh at with Bigfoot. People would laugh at with, Sasquatch don't live here, Dogman and all that. But Northern Michigan is heavily wilderness, where people would be like, oh yeah, no, it's very possible and stuff. And then the UP is heavily wilderness environment. Very in the northwest, west you go in the UP towards Wisconsin you're practically living out in the wild still. So the environment here is very different. A lot of farm crops and stuff. Very different how they migrate around. Very different how they operate. There's so much population density, especially in Detroit, and all this compared to this huge, way more population here than here, and then compared to the UP. But yet there's sightings all through here, and there's even hot spots on BFRO. And if you look at the Bigfoot Mapping Project.com, Bigfoot Mapping Project, very good resource. They have a very good cataloged, it's like GIS mapping, interactive map, like Google Map thing, where they have sightings of different things cataloged, and you can see. So you can find your state, and you can see all the Bigfoot sightings that's in that program, that project catalog, and it's a good number. It's a good number. It's not all the sightings we have here in Michigan. If you look at Michigan, definitely not all the sightings we have, but it's definitely good. You can see that in Lower Michigan, there's some sightings and footprints and calls that vary right next to suburban areas, and it's not in the Pacific Northwest. It's not on a remote wilderness mountaintop above, where the snow peaks are and stuff. It's this rural America, farm belt America, where there's there's farm programs at the school, how to be farmers and stuff. This is not an environment where most Americans, 90%, 99% Americans would say Sasquatch is thriving, let alone living and all this stuff. What? No, thriving? What? No. Sasquatch Wizard Adirondacks. Nice to see you. How's it going? it would be logical to think Sasquatch / Bigfoot are intelligent, but it seems like their mentality is that of a 7-year-old child with instincts so superior it projects more intelligence, in my opinion. And that something I wrestle with too is it more intelligence or skill based? But it's intelligent enough to understand certain things, and 7-year-olds would be too hot-headed in certain situations. And the ones here in Michigan that I've experienced, I've been yelled at too. Bill's been yelled at. Oh. Another comment pushed this one up so I figured that's what happened, but I've been yelled at too because I shot at a possum and all of a sudden this thing's yelling at me from across the neighbor's backwoods. The same male deep what's the neighbor yelling at me, man? What the heck? I'm trying to shoot coyotes. Like some don't sound right. And then the third time is mumbling caveman yell. It's oh my god, it's Sasquatch. It's intense and it's scary, and he's pissed off at me. He's clearly pissed off. It was so human like. I thought it was the neighbor. I could tell he was mad. And then the girlfriend or the wife bickered in, and she was fluty and whoop, all sorts of sing-song language is what I called it. She did what I call sing-song language is what it sounded like. But it was, feminine, very different. And them bickering and stuff, going back and forth, it was like an old married couple bickering back and forth. And it was like he was going to come and show me and teach me a lesson or do something. And his wife is like, don't, better calm down, Jim. Don't do nothing stupid, Jim. Come on, Jim. He has a gun, Jim. all sorts of stupid stuff. Like it was so human like that I just couldn't fathom how just human like it was. But that communication wasn't humanistic language. It didn't even sound Native American. It sounded very unique, but it sounded like an adult married couple with the emotional intelligence of such. So I think they're pretty intelligent, honestly. It was so human like. It was just weird. And you see that different things, different encounters, witnesses, people say. So well, I appreciate that, Brandon. Nice to see you. New name and stuff. Always good when people enjoy the show. We try to do this every weekend, mostly on Saturdays or Fridays or Thursdays. Depends on what's going on, but mostly on Saturdays. Usually around 11 o'clock when the kids get to bed and are supposed to go to bed anyways. And try to give you a good show. And we do a little bit of a few things. We got some things planned for the future and stuff. We got some outings and stuff that are going to be open for anyone to come. If you have researchers, especially invited, we want to take people out to some special areas out here in Michigan, and got some non-Bigfoot related projects actually got in the works that I kind of personally want to do, and other things, and it's going to be fun next year and stuff. We got a lot of things that are in the wings that we're waiting for, and but we're going to have a nice time for hopefully have some researchers come out, have a nice time to go out researching in active areas to get some actual evidence. We won't be at a campground. We'll be actually in the woods, down a chew track, and then probably off that, and then however deep we can go, or however close you guys want to be. Honestly, it just depends. Each has its pros and cons, but open invite for researchers and to get some real good stuff going. We want Michigan is kind of like this little best kept secret of of research, because there's not really a lot of people coming here doing it, and there are some independent researchers, some good ones and some bad ones, and um, it's a great state to come and research. It's a great state with heavy population of Sasquatch, and I think that definitely going to be doing this for a lot of years to come, and hopefully, I want people to come along the way, and I think that with certain I think with the what I'm seeing around the Bigfoot community and different people on YouTube and researchers who are passionate, committed, and actually willing to go out there and work and work at this and do it. I see, like, I don't see a reason why we shouldn't be able to get some good evidence here in Michigan, working together and stuff. I personally, I when I go out there, it's not to party or anything. It's to work. It's to try to go out there and get evidence of this. Try to get in this encounter, experience it, and then when you're in that encounter, try to have enough sense and not be scared, crapping your pants enough to film, turn the camera on, start filming, relax, so you're not blowing the audio, screwing the audio, and trying to get the moment captured on camera, whatever kind of equipment you got, and do it as flawlessly as you can in a safe manner. So yeah, it is going to be amazing when if we all live to see the days when science gets to work on the anatomy and starts providing some physical answers. Feel a lot sooner if we force it on them. If we get evidence that they just can't say it's fake and stuff. I believe through interaction, not one-offs, but continual interaction with the same person, same groups, of them doing different things, potentially getting, like primates and stuff. They get used to you enough, even if they are humanistic, more intelligent. If they accept you enough, you might be able to capture them doing their everyday lively activity, which is what we would need, because once they're proven, we got to study them now. Well, how are you going to study them? Well, you're going to have to get close to them. You got to film them. Well, how are you going to do that? You got to build their trust. You're going to have to have interaction. You're going to have to do what we're trying to do now. Scientists are already, I'm sure that the government and there's some scientists who have already studied and are studying these things, these conservation areas with like drones, stealth drones with infrared and thermal and a way more sophisticated level than us, I'm sure. So, but mainstream official stuff, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while before they even like trying to start getting interactions and stuff, because they're going to be like, well, let's just try to get more evidence and stuff, even if they get a body and stuff. And then they're going to be like, well, we got to try to get more evidence and try to get some encounters and try to observe them doing their natural things. But I don't think they're going to observe them doing their natural things without drones or having some interaction and trust like they do with great apes, which takes a little while. But then once you're accepted and stuff, usually you can have some remarkable things, but it's very dangerous still. If you do the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing, you could end up someone's breakfast or someone's dart that they're going to throw at the tree, I guess. So, we don't know, but we know that humans eat other humans. Humans eat a lot of weird, crazy, nasty things, and eat a lot of things to survive. And in survival, old, injured, sick animals prey upon humans more. Young animals and stuff. Sometimes all sorts of things happen. You're not supposed to really bring women who are on their period out there around these things, because they get hyper aggressive. Young males, stuff, they get hyper aggressive. There's all sorts of encounters and witnesses and testimonies to this. And there's people I trust who are data miners and who say, you shouldn't be using those kind of products for bait or anything because, the data shows that the interaction that they have experiencing these things is never good interaction and stuff. So, and it's dumb and potentially very dangerous. So, the Native Americans say that they used to steal women and children, and they would try to mate with them, but they would also eat them too. But also there was good interactions too. But so you can't just trust these things. You should have a healthy respect for them, and they should have a respect for you. You should have a weapon. You should not be so scared and not know what to do that you're just shooting at every little thing that moves. And if you see a Sasquatch, don't grab your gun to shoot at. Don't grab your gun to point. If you know it's for sure a Sasquatch, 100%, because they don't like that. And if it's not like attacking you directly, don't. There's no reason for you to be messing with it and tempting it. So they're so funny. But I have had guns on me several times, and I like to have it for a healthy respect. I like it's a tool. It's a good. If I need it for a black bear, I want to have it because I don't want to have to use a knife. That would suck. So being prepared and stuff is a great thing in this healthy respect of this interaction. It is good, because I want to be safe out there. I don't want them to, keep me forever because they don't want me to leave. I don't want them to, do certain things. So I'm not going to do certain things. I think once they understand that, I want the same understanding, and that's how intelligent these things are. So far, Sasquatch, Wizard, Adirondacks. So far here, from my experiences in different areas in Michigan, they have been. Even in areas of missing 411 stuff, which I think Sasquatch are partially blamed, but I have had good interaction. So, but again, there's missing people all over the same place. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Doesn't sit well with me, but again, they wanted me. They could have had me plenty of times. But my personal goal and the goal of the Lost Cryptids is to get undeniable evidence, and evidence of interaction, not just one-off trying to run behind a tree, but interactions of things, of full encounters on video, audio and stuff, and hopefully have research expeditions where we actually have people who want to go in the field, even if you're not a researcher. There's a lot of people who can hang out at camp for morale boost and hang out and help what's needed, and the camaraderie and stuff. There's a lot of things that can be done with a big group of researchers, and a lot of areas that can be explored and to be divided and penetrated with different groups and teams. So it's not impossible to actually network and get everything set up if it's organized and directed a certain way. I think it can be done. People certainly around here in the community and researchers are experienced enough. They know typically what they're doing, and I feel like if enough come together, it's possible we can get some good, great, amazing stuff here in Michigan. But it's work. Again, it's not. You're gonna have to leave camp, go out in the woods. It's work. You might have to pull an 8-hour shift in. If we really want to get things done, then you might have to put an 8-hour shift in during 85-degree weather outside. Yeah, take a break whenever and get refreshments and water and food, of course. But the potential of, you might be on your feet hiking and doing things for 8 hours nonstop. Plus, if you go outside at nighttime too, racking up the hours, it's work, because that's what it's needed is, we can't be weekend warriors and just, go party at camp and hope for the best. Everyone has their own styles, and I think they all work because they all seem to work. But I personally like to go out and try to find evidence and then hopefully bring them back to camp afterwards. But I like Bill said, when I'm out there, I'm experiencing the wilderness for myself personally first on a level, while I'm searching for Sasquatch on another level and stuff. So I personally, even in the moment of searching for Sasquatch, I admire the beauty of the scenery or of a certain tree or just something that just, speaks to my soul of being out in this amazing wilderness forest or anything out there. It's amazing and stuff. So there's a lot of things going on, and maybe Sasquatches are picking up on that. I don't know, but I think it's all related and stuff. It's good. But it's good to be proficient in doing all this and knowing your limits and what you can and you cannot do, and you want to build yourself up and train. You want to work out. You want to. If you sit on the couch all day, then you're like, I'm gonna go look for Sasquatch. It's gonna be, hey man, if you worked out a little bit and practiced, you're gonna be a lot more proficient at walking, staying longer out there, your endurance. If you go off trail, it's gonna be even more harder. Especially if some people never really have gone off trail and stuff, and it's something that you should probably read up on, experience, and research, and try to learn a compass, read a compass. If you get lost out there, what are you going to do? You should probably learn how the stars and the constellations move across the sky, and so you can actually tell where, it's north and stuff. A constellation will start here and it will move across the sky. So even though it's north facing this way, a couple hours later, that constellation is going to be completely facing a totally different direction. But if you can tell, you can easily direct yourself towards the same direction by that positioning or from the other constellation that is now in that other spot. These are good wilderness skill tips, survival tips, being prepared. It's just good to know, regardless of looking for Sasquatch, if you're in the wilderness environment. If something happens, I break a leg or something happens, I'm out there by myself. It's up to me to get out there. Cell phone doesn't work. Having knowledge and stuff is going to help me get out there a lot more efficiently, a lot more safer, and keep me alive, especially in a very deadly situation. It's going to keep me alive. So. And, in some of these places that we have been and go, I could find myself in a survival situation. Anyone could be. And it does happen. So I carry, a life straw, be able to drink and out of water and stuff. Don't carry my own water. There's certain gear and stuff I take, certain stuff I have, certain stuff I always carry and prep. Even though I never probably need it and use it, I always rope and cordage on me. I always have duct tape. I got fire starting stuff. I got sparklers. Actually, it's great to have some sparklers because they burn super hot and they can start a fire pretty easily. All you need is just a little light, and bam, you got a pretty much waterproof, resistant fire starter that is going to melt anything that you put in its way, easily to able to start a fire. So night vision, audio, headlamps and stuff. Get yourself a really good headlamp, not a cheapy one. This one was I bought it with the kit and stuff, but this is $125 by itself. And then you get different replacements for like $30-$40 and stuff. So I got the red. Oh, berries are missing out of it. But get yourself a really expensive, good quality hunting headlamp. Get a good quality, actually brand one and stuff. Not some cheapy headlamp that you buy at Walmart and stuff. Unless you're going to, go expensive on it. Something that actually is good quality. Because you want to be able to see out there and stuff. That thing can spot eye shine from 300 yards away and stuff, and it will shine. So you want to be prepared and stuff in every single way. You don't have to have super expensive equipment or the best equipment, but you want good quality equipment. Something durable and something that's not going to break. And 1 minute. I'll be right back, guys. Just having all this gear and stuff is great to have, and being proficient at researching it, getting good quality equipment. If you don't need expensive stuff, and if you're going to spend the money on something, you want to research and make sure that you're getting the best quality you can for the same amount of money, because you can spend $125 and buy a piece of crap light, or you can spend $125 and get a damn good light, and that's good. Fall metal, it's not going to break, and American made and all that. So you really want to make, especially camera equipment. You can buy a $400 piece of crap camera, or you can buy a $400 decent camera, or a good quality camera. You can spend $1,000 and buy a piece of crap camera that is decent, or way better. So no matter what piece of equipment you have, you want to make sure you have good quality of stuff, and sometimes maybe spend a little extra for that, and test it out too. Just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's good. You want to test it out, make sure it's good, because some of these smaller companies, some of these smaller not so brandy companies are actually really good competitors and stuff, and are really trying to go hard as underdogs. So all right, Sasquatch Wizard and Ryan next. It was awesome to have you on here. Join anytime, or usually on Saturdays or Fridays and stuff, but usually every weekend and stuff we have a show. Maybe have you come on and talk about any experiences you have and research efforts you're doing, or just general interest in or theories about stuff. Pretty open platform on here and stuff. Don't try to swear and stuff. We try to be polite. I swear like a sailor, actually, but on here we use other forms of communication to express ourselves. But in the heat of the moment, we do sometimes flip the script, go off script. But we try to communicate with other words and stuff to express ourselves on here. But in person, I'm a typical guy. But that's the only thing I ask, is try not to swear. And then, of course, if you have a different opinion than someone else's, it should not go into World War III over it. Friendly, honest discussions and debates about things. So that's about it. Everyone's welcome, and those who are not won't show up, and if they do, they won't be on here anyway. So it's all good. So yeah, we have a great year planned. Got girlfriend on board finally. She's going out, researching a lot more, which is great. Doing a lot more great things that way, and she's definitely gets more cojones, and a lot of researchers I've met after dark. She goes not afraid to go in after stuff she hears, and experience stuff. So it's awesome to have her along for the ride, and very supportive, of course. And maybe get her on here. She's kind of shy, doesn't feel the need to come on and talk about her stories, even though it's not bloating and stuff. But she's just happy to experience this just craziness of this world and stuff, and doesn't need to share it with anyone, which is awesome. But I'll probably be showing some pictures and stuff of hers that she got of some ghosts and all that, and one of these days she'll come on. We can talk about all the encounters she's had and we've experienced together so far, and hopefully have a couple more maybe to tell added on to them too. So got a lot of things planned. Next year we're going to be doing research camp out and stuff, and I got some other projects I'm going to be doing. I'm actually going to be looking into search and rescue and stuff. A lot of them need volunteers and stuff, and I'm able-bodied. Might be able to do that and stuff. Take some courses and all that, which is something that's being prepared and stuff. I'm out in these places. Some of these places do have missing people. I mean, I'm out there looking for Sasquatch. I might come across certain people, or if I'm a generality, I might need to know potentially if there's a missing person or what they look like, what kind of clothes and stuff like that. And if I'm out in these areas, I might try to put some effort, volunteer some time to look for some of these people, which is a good thing and stuff, and it is needed. Honestly, a lot of search and rescue is understaffed, underfunded, mainly volunteers, even local government stuff. After about 20 days, searching for it usually stops. Most searches don't typically happen after that, especially if bad weather happens, or they think you're not going to be able to survive that long. They stop searching for you, or volunteers and stuff. They can only search for so long, being funded and taking time away, and so they need your help. They need your support. They need your manpower if you're able to, and I believe that Sasquatches are playing a role in the missing 401 in some of these cases, along with other cryptids and possibly other things unexplainable. But I kind of have this need to, I'm out there anyways. I gonna try to search for those people too. Some people in particular, but just some certain cases just don't sit well, and it's very odd, and be out there anyways and stuff. So it's areas of interest and all that. So Sasquatch, blah blah blah. But I think finding these people is actually more important. Calling and stuff too. So I'm gonna give my hand a try at it. At least give my personal effort at it. And I would invite you guys too if you want to tag along. We could definitely make it happen. But it's definitely a more professional setting, and not it's not like a camp out. We're trying to search for a missing person who's already going to be dead and stuff. We're searching for a corpse, honestly, because it's how long it's been and stuff. So different kind of mindset and stuff. It's different than looking for Sasquatch. It's a little bit more serious and stuff, but same kind of prepping and wilderness survival and searching and tactics and all that still applies. And you're looking in these different areas and stuff, and who knows what you'll come across. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to invite some people and get in contact with different groups. So just personally want to do it. I don't know. I don't know why particularly, but I feel like it's a good thing to do, and I would invite everyone to look into possibly doing that, because a lot of research or volunteers and search and rescue people, a lot of them are like retired people, older people, or people who have time, and a lot more people are needed. A lot more early response teams are needed, and a lot of late response teams needed to keep searching for people after 20 days, keep searching for people after 2 weeks, keep searching for people, keep searching for the person nonstop as long as you can. Don't just stop because, well, it's too hard, or it's rained for 2 weeks. So, well, we got to have more effort and all that. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm doing different things and stuff. Enjoying the wilderness, going camping stuff with the family. Not even going to be looking for Sasquatch and stuff too. So, but still getting out in the wilderness environment, and experiencing everything is important. So, I think that's what everyone should do and stuff, and enjoy themselves. Get outside, get some sunlight, get in the woods, learn the calls of nature, learn the sounds. So you're not tricked by a woodpecker, you're not tricked by some bird, you're not tricked by a barred owl hooting and stuff, and making whoops at you, which is its normal calls, and be proficient at detecting what is and what's not a Sasquatch. So when you realize and you can deduct and deduce, like, hey, I'm 90% sure this is a Sasquatch activity I'm having, you can get into the mindset of getting that camera ready, getting prepared, and not, well, I don't know, it could be a bird or it could be that, and then you're not ready, camera's not turned on, you're not focused, you're not really, trying to look for what's going on. You gotta really kind of work. You gotta put the hours in and work and learn. And I've been doing this since I was 13, and I'm gonna be 32 in October, so gonna be 20 years here pretty soon next year. That's crazy that I've been out in the woods and had my first encounter. And but before that, as a kid, I watched History Channel programs with my dad and read books and John Green books and all sorts of things, and it's amazing and stuff. This journey and stuff. Sometimes I feel like a kid at a candy store that I'm on here talking with you guys, and as a kid, didn't think I'd be sitting here talking about Bigfoot and going out and sharing experiences with different people and being a part of to different expeditions, like down in Florida, and it's awesome. It's nice. So hopefully I can continue to take you along my personal journey and bring you guys some evidence and show you guys and convince you, and hopefully get you guys awareness and get you guys out there and add my part to this puzzle piece, and hopefully carry my weight, and hopefully hopefully my effort is worth something. Maybe it won't ever be, but I have high hopes and passion and fire and stuff, so I'm gonna keep doing this until I can't walk anymore and can't do it. So hopefully in all these years coming up, we got some good stuff to show you guys, and tag along, and I can meet you guys, and I want you guys out in the woods with me. I love having people out in the woods. I love guiding people out in the woods, and I'd love to come to your guys' state and areas and experience what you guys experience too. I think that's awesome, and it's what's needed. So all in due time, patience is a virtue, and a lot of good things are coming together very, very amazingly, and slowly and surely. So we got some plans and stuff, future plans, 10 years plans, and all sorts of things going on that is really going to be amazing in the future. And I think sky's the limit, honestly. But everything is going to be towards the research effort, and eventually it's our interaction. So I hope one day I get some interactions, be able to show my Sasquatch buddies to ripping a tree out of the ground or something crazy like that. Just undeniable stuff that they are able to do that scientists can be like, yep, it's not fake. Yep, there's just no way. We have to show you guys. So, but if that's it, I'm going to probably get off. It's been a good long show, almost 3 hours. So if there's any questions, comments, concerns, anything at all, I'll be 100% honest. Pretty open about things. Put them in the comments right now. I want to hear them. I want to hear you guys' thoughts and stuff. If nothing else goes on, I'll be shutting it down, and we'll be seeing you guys next week. I didn't have nothing on the videos coming out, unfortunately. Video took a crap, or computer took a crap, and unfortunately, I was not able to work on the projects I'm doing right now. My girlfriend choking on pop. She can't swallow right like that. That was horrible wording. I'm so tired. I'm so tired right now. Running on a little sleep and stuff, but I love doing this show. I love doing this with you guys and stuff. So announcements to come. A lot of things. Once the computer starts, I get the computer up and working and stuff, and figure it out. I'll have some projects for you guys. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that, but I got some other videos I'm able to work on. Not on this computer that should be this week for you guys to see. So yeah. So no other questions and stuff. Pyromedic, nice to see you. I appreciate it. I think that's great that you guys watch it and enjoy it and stuff. You know, it's very humbling stuff. I try to, just come out here and tell my opinions and my theories and my experiences from my research about things. That's basically all I have and stuff is this years of what I've been doing, and this is what I think and what I've found, and it's evolving, and sometimes it changes, and like Dogman, I just think that was kind of horse crap, and then all of a sudden I experienced something that was, it's Dogman, so gotta believe it. So, without further ado, I'm gonna play some of the outros and stuff. I appreciate everyone stopping by, watching, staying with us. I'm gonna play some evidence clips for you guys, and then I'll play the outro for you. And then I would recommend, you can watch me and Jason Kenzie's and Blake Deutscher's Bigfoot Encounter. You can watch on our channel, Lost Cryptids Conservatory, of course. You can watch me and Bill Sauer's interview. He has 2 interviews on here. You can watch them both. And then you can watch some of our documentaries, not professional documentaries or anything. The Lost Cryptids Expedition to Allegan County, Part 1 and Part 2, with good evidence in there. The Expedition to Waterloo is pretty decent with some good evidence and stories. And some other videos and evidences and stuff is on there too. Of course, a lot of good podcasts, a lot of shows, a lot of good information on there, experiences. I've had some good guests on in the past. We'll have some good ones in the future. Been pretty crazy here with the family and stuff. A lot of great stuff been going on, and can't wait for the future and what to bring you guys. So 2023 is going to be a great year. Waiting for that and everything beyond. So hopefully everyone enjoyed the show. And without further ado, I'm going to start playing some different clips for you guys. And these are going to be just different audio and be eye shine from the EP, 2 different eye shines from the EP, and then I'll play some wood knocks and some other little things for you guys. All right, so we'll start off with I just lost you. We'll start off with this, which is red eye shine in Florida. And then all these other ones are going to be from Michigan.
I got eye shine right in front of me. I said, there's eye shine right here, left of me. Directly left. One eyeball. No? I think it sees the IR light.
Hit it with the thermal, what is that?
It is directly left of us.
Pyro, you can watch Jason Kenzie's encounter interview that we've done last August 2021. We did an interview just after the encounter where he talks about it. He also does other interviews on different podcasts that he talks about it. But he's done 3 interviews for on our show. He's done 1 interview before coming to Michigan and 2 interviews since coming to Michigan and after our encounter. So you can find them on the channel. And so here's a clip from Michigan.
Well, there's a big pile of mess. They could have flipped around and stuff. Yeah. There's a big pile of mess. They could have flipped around and stuff. Yeah. There's a big pile of mess. They could have flipped around and stuff. Yeah.
I got a signal out here. I got a signal out here.
Shh.
Yep. Something like that.
Hi.
I got a signal out here. Or is he him?
You guys heard that, right?
Yeah.
Is that him?
Oh, it's definitely him.
When he
He
smacked
came
his,
flying back when it happened.
smacked his head in the tree or something?
That was pretty hard. Yeah, well, you heard it, right?
Yeah.
I got a signal out here. Or is he him?
You guys heard that, right?
Yeah.
Is that him?
House, like, I mean, no, I'm not Joe. I'm not. 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 I'm not I'm not joking. It could be a rodent,
smaller.
maybe, but mouse. Like, no, I'm not I'm not joking. It could be a rodent,
Smaller.
maybe, but
That was he's talking about he's seen eye shine at the ground level. He wasn't sure what it was, and then if you guys seen, there's eye shine that tries to seemingly duck away at the tree, and then of course I don't see it when I'm filming it. I'm filming towards the direction, and I happen to step this way, and that's when it is out in the open. But we actually hear a howl off in the distance. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's actual howl there. And we turn the camera and focus our attention that way, which is interesting.
mouse. Like, no, I'm not joking. It could be a rodent,
Smaller.
maybe, but
Yeah. So there's some clips and stuff. We'll do the where's that one? Here's some audio stuff. I believe the first clip is a coyote and stuff. Sounds very coyote-ish, but the other ones do not. So the first sound is a coyote. The other ones are potentially something else.
What's that? What's that? What's that? What's that?
Yeah, so the first one is I believe a coyote, but the other sounds are something odd and definitely stirred the antennas of all the several researchers that we had there. So as you could tell by the responses by hearing the other ones and not the first one. That, and that's some of the stuff that you can find on our channel. Stuff. These are short clips of from longer videos, and these are evidence that I've captured personally, filmed, or the only thing is Jason filmed the one encounter, but everything else from the channel is something I personally have filmed. I'm the camera operator, and I film everything. I'm the only one who actually filmed anything going out and stuff. So yeah. So all those clips, besides the one with Jason, is me behind the camera. And me behind the camera doing all the filming and trying to get evidence and all that. So there's a little bit of that. Here's some tracks I'll show real quick for you guys. See the impression there of got a heel and then this ridge in the middle, and then you have the impressions of the fingers, knuckles, or toes. And what's odd is that ridge line that separates them and stuff. It's not flat. It's not a double step. It's not flat. The area is just abnormal stuff. It's a small track, but it was a track that was in the swamp and stuff. So it's Sasquatch activity and stuff around there. So yeah, this is a pretty unique, different track. If you guys can see it there and stuff, finding different tracks. And I did an episode or a show 3 weeks ago, or a month ago, specifically on those tracks and another set of tracks, so you guys can watch and hear me talk about that. And show you this clip with Jason Kenson. So he's filming this. I'm right there. I'm being his guide. And right there is eye shine captured. One of 3 that we captured. I think it's the same individual with one eye closed. And we seen that on the previous clip by the tent, right? With the one eye was shut. And we see it here again as one eyeball that's reflecting the IR vision. And it's very close. And then you're going to see it again very, very fast. On the left-hand side of Jason, very fast. And bam, flashes right there. Again, it's the same individual, we believe, same one eyeball, one eye shine. And so we're moving away from it. I actually think it's actually moving towards us. It got closer because this clip is before the second clip, and we're in a different area, and then we walk down the trail the other way. So if it's that close to us right there, then we start walking away, and then all of a sudden it gets closer right there, in which then we stay there, and then all of a sudden Jason turns around and starts seeing the other one that crosses the trail and stuff. So those are evidence that we got from the UP. And so that was shot. You can watch that. Make sure when you watch our videos, go to the settings, go to the quality, and make sure it's the highest settings for the quality. So when you watch Jason Kenzie and Blake Dorsher's Bigfoot Encounter on my channel, the Lost Cryptids Conservatory, you can watch that in 4K because that was shot in 4K. So you can watch that in 4K for you guys. And maybe on if you guys have really big 4K, 8K, big screen TVs, maybe you guys can see that eye shine way better and stuff than what you're able to see on this live stream. Because this live stream, the quality is compressed, it's reduced, it's not 4K. So you're going to see a lot more better quality if you watch the original unedited, raw, basically clip. That's just what he got. So for you guys. Don't need to edit, don't need nothing. It's just that's the encounter. It started a little bit before that, but Jason did a good job filming, and you can watch everything. So I see got some comments in here that I should probably address, I guess. Some Pyromanic. So Robert Kreider mentioned in his presentation at the Michigan Bigfoot conference that he believes that they make knocking sounds with their mouths. They must definitely sound like wood. I definitely agree. Robert Kreider was. I agree with him on that, and unfortunately, this Michigan Bigfoot conference that was held today. Unfortunately, the only thing that wasn't there is integrity, and unfortunately, the people who host that. The idea of this event, the place that was held, was not their ideas and stuff. In fact, the person who just basically showed up got a open seat on my, because we held this last year. We held the Michigan Bigfoot Conference last year. And it was a fiasco with all these different people trying to steal money, people in my group trying to steal money. People trying to make deals with different people, trying to show up, this, that, fiasco, blah, 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 blah. And then passionate people whose idea it was to have it here and where it was held this year by the new host, stolen. And the whole idea to have it at this place was this other gentleman's was very passionate about it, and and it's just bullshit, honestly. it's just bullshit con artist stuff. Uh, I can't support it and stuff. I support Robert Kreider, but and some of the other people who showed up and stuff presented there, but I don't support the host at all. In fact, some of the people that they work with and stuff stole equipment gifted to Lost Cryptids. So, any bimbo can, throw money and pay people to show up and talk and stuff. But what they won't show you and stuff is any evidence of anything. It seems like they haven't gone in the woods for a whole year. Certainly don't show you anything. But they'll certainly throw a conference and use the hard work and ideas of other people who spent years trying to plan stuff like that and work off their backs, and other con artists people to do it, headed up with them too. So it's very unfortunate, but hey, money speaks louder than integrity to some people, or it's worth more. So since that was brought up, Pyromanic, I guess I'll address it. But Kreider's a great guy. He's pretty knowledgeable. When we had him here in Michigan at the Upper Peninsula, he was out there in the field. He worked, got evidence, experienced some stuff. He has audio that you can hear that's from Michigan, stuff like that. Like I said, it's been a great experience this last year, both good and bad, working with people, and reaffirmed why I don't really like working with most people, especially with people who have their own agendas and, trying to steal the Lost Cryptids Conservatory. The person tried to steal money. I mean, the people who run the conference, didn't like this person. Then they got over it. Money's good. Money makes friendship go around. But this person tried to, the other person tried to steal money, con people out of stuff, lie, sabotage, try to, we're going to set up a group LLC about things, group things, split it and having certain things, be split. The person who hosted the event this year was included. Equal split, equal things, partnership. Well, when one person takes and steals everyone's information and then only signs his name as the sole proprietor on everything, I don't know. How would you feel about that? And then when they say, well, they're all buddies now. They're all buddies still. Well, I don't know, man. So I can't support any of that. And I won't. They don't have no integrity. Josh told me point blank, I ain't going to be like that, Blank. I ain't about that. I want to work with you and all that. And what did he do? Money's worth more than his character and friendship and integrity. So that's what they're about. That's what all you found at that place, at that conference and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Hey, that's their own deal. I don't know. But maybe karma. Karma's a mysterious thing, and when you do things, you f people over. Sometimes it comes back at you in other ways. So that's what happens when you try to take an event and present yourselves. I caught these different players and stuff who, trying to sell merchandise as posing as Lost Cryptids Conservatory, selling merchandise as Lost Cryptids and stuff. Months after I told them to stop, months after they're not in the group. So, whatever. So that's what I have an opinion about that, because, I guess you brought it up, Pyromatic. And I already said, if someone asks questions or comments and concerns, it's a free-for-all tonight. It's going to be pretty open and honest. And, I'm not trying to be brutal. So I'm not. So, but distrustful thieves and con artists who are trying to steal your money and make a big buck, who can't show you any evidence themselves. Like, it's been a whole year. It's been a whole year since these people have not been in my group, and they can't show you anything. I just showed you a bunch of clips. I can show you more. They can't show you a damn thing. And all their stories that they have, they don't like telling because it involves me being in it. So like half the time when I've watched interviews, they kind of have to like finagle their way through a story without presenting me or having me come up too much or lie about it, straight up lie about how they got connected with people. Well, I mean, it's a lot harder to keep telling lies and making up lies than it is just to tell the truth. So no, pyromedic, it's all good. I should shut up. My girlfriend keeps giving me that look. I'm getting a little ranting and heated and stuff, but honestly, it's no sweat off my back, honestly. So what I got planned and what I'm doing is far beyond what anything they can steal and stuff. They have no original ideas. That's all. I laugh about everything. So stay tuned. We got more stuff to come. If you guys want to support us, you guys can donate through YouTube. We have the Facebook page, Lost Cryptids Conservatory. You can donate through the Facebook page, through Messenger, all blah, 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 through all that if you guys don't want to. Of course, you don't have to. And that's about it. That's the only time I'm going to mention it during the whole show. So that's it. We're going to play the outro, which is my personal bass mix with produced and wrote and produced alongside with Gabe Hess, who's a Michigan independent researcher from Southeast Michigan. And he did the rest of it, helped produce and write the instruments that you'll hear. So pretty awesome stuff. I'm really glad it turned out good. Great guy. So here we go.